I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter. I'm the head coach for NoBSCoachingAdvice.com and JobSearch.Coaching HQ.com. And the title's a little provocative because it starts off by insisting that you break a rule. There are a lot of things that we do that we don't need to do. They've just become bad habits, repetitive, thoughtless actions that really don't accomplish what we want to except allow us to check off a checkbox. And when I think of the 10,000 hour rule, 10,000 hours of deliberate action, ideally under the tutelage of a master, one of the statistics that Anders Ericsson points out to is that there comes a point with a lot of people where they don't really improve. They get to be good enough. And instead of aspiring to greatness and excellence, they aspire to good enough. And if that's what you want, by all means do it. Keep doing what you're doing, and you will keep getting the results that you've been getting. And eventually you'll start to atrophy. One of the other statistics that Ericsson points out is that with experienced physicians, they're not as good as the less experienced physicians very often because they don't keep up to date and they found that good enough way that works for them. So they think. Now, for you professionally, I'd like you to consider something. There are rules that you follow in your life that really don't work for you anymore, that you need to experiment with doing later, doing differently, to bring some life into your life, to see whether they really are valid anymore or whether they've just become so habitual that you're on autopilot, which to me is one of the great curses of life, is to live life on autopilot. Great book I was reading tells a story of I don't remember the name of it right now, but it tells a story of a man who was working in Lower Manhattan. He decided he was going to have breakfast with his family one morning and take a train that would leave about 20 minutes later. And when faced with his choice of, he got up that next morning having said, I'm going to stay home and have breakfast and just take a later train. He got dressed that morning at his usual time. His wife asked him, I thought you were going to have breakfast with us today. And he paused, and he didn't realize this is his moment of truth moment in life, and said, you're right, I'll stay and have breakfast. Took a train 20 minutes later. And the result was he got to Lower Manhattan on September 11th, 2001, after the plane had flown into his desk. His office was on the 96th floor, and one of the planes flew directly into where his desk was. A lot of people he knew died. He lived. And I bring this up again because I've mentioned this before in another video, that it's small actions that we take rather than major ones that often are the difference and build upon one another to allow us to have the success, the life that we want. Instead of living with, is that all there is? And the sort of malaise that comes with that acceptance that this is all there is. That's a lie we tell ourselves to rationalize and justify that we don't have the life that we want. And I'm going to respectfully disagree with you. You can change things. And it starts with breaking a rule that you have been living by and discovering whether or not it really works for you. And you probably can't just break it once. You may need to do it more than once. Now, I want to be clear. If you think I'm telling you not to pay your taxes, I'm not saying that at all. If you think I'm telling you to breach security on your firm's computer systems as a breaking the rule moment, I'm not. You know what I'm talking about exactly. And it's so important to consider breaking rules and from that leading your life in the direction that you want. Hope you find this helpful. My site is NoBSCoachingAdvice.com. If you'd like to reach out to me, I'd love to help you. I'd love to work with you professionally, achieve the goals that you want, because I'm going to say very succinctly, all of us have been conditioned to behave in certain ways from the time that we're little. We've been brought into the factory of life. We went to kindergarten, joined public schools, and learned basically to do what we're told or else. And I think we can live our lives a little bit differently. Have a great day. Take care.